Hi Gemini, and welcome to your energy forecast for the week beginning the 8th of May 2017. What energies are we looking for Gemini? What potential energies are around Gemini this week? We have the World. We have the Nine of Swords. I don't know why I did that. And we have the Page of Cups. We have Temperance. We have the Nine of Cups. We have the Three of Wands. We have the Hermit. We have the Empress. And we have the Two of Swords. So we come into the week with the World card. The final the final completion of the major arcana. A cycle has been completed. Successfully completed. And that's the key word in the World card. It's about regeneration. We're feeling regenerated, we're feeling ready to move on. I'm ready to start something new. We're celebrating our achievements and where we've come. And we may receive actually some kind of a reward for how far we've come. It's such a thing as meeting a target on a goal, or finalising a house move, or other major project. It can signify a relationship landmark, such as a wedding, an anniversary, or a renewing of vows. There are opportunities to travel now. And if you're single, to find romance while you're travelling. It is very much the world is your oyster. The advice with it is to celebrate what you've achieved and embrace new opportunities that are coming ahead. Be full of energy and motivation. The world in a weekly reading would actually refer to Saturday. So maybe Saturday was when the turnaround happened, or by the time we get to Saturday we'll have this turnaround. Saturn does talk to restrictions, limitations and structure of things. So are we breaking restrictions? Are we stretching beyond our limitations? Nonetheless, a brand new chapter can now be written. And that sits right next to the Nine of Swords. Now the Nine of Swords is probably one of the most feared cards in the deck. It does talk about sleepless nights, bad premonitions, anxiety, fear, doubt, negative self-talk, but we're feeling the burdens of it all here. It could be guilt over situations, just mental overload in general, a lot of stress around us. But this card is the 9. It's the near completion of a cycle, and it's the realization that We cause these sleepless nights ourselves by the way we think, by what we let in to affect us. Someone else's problems we take on and worry as our own. You know, the little thing in the office that has become a massive thing because we've recycled it in our brain so much. But it's the realisation that we control our thoughts, not our thoughts controlling us. It can be that epiphany moment of realising we feel and think this way because our ego and our pride have not let us see things in any other way. But it's time to walk away from that energy, and that's what we do in the 10. We make an ending to it. So as soon as you're aware of this, we can do the 10 and complete this cycle. And that's right next to the Page of Cups. Now the Page of Cups talks about our innocence in emotions. When the page goes out to start his flight, he's very innocent, he's playful, he's outgoing, he's imaginative. He can very easily bring an offer of new love, an offer of companionship. He can be someone who's just very young at heart. They may have much to offer. You may be young at heart and you may realise you've got a lot to offer. He can talk about friendships, not necessarily love relationships. But he does talk about love coming in the future. Creative projects can flourish, and so can finances. It gives the energy of enjoyment and enjoying the lighter side of life, allowing time for imagination. I suppose listening and letting live the inner child for a while from our own perspectives. If it is someone coming in, maybe they remind you of something or unlock the inner child within us. The Page of Cups can sometimes be more idealistically in his thinking about a connection than realistic. So maybe unrealistic thoughts regarding a situation. You know, if we're not as dreamy about it and a little bit more realistic, would it be a better outcome? Maybe. And that sits right next to the card of Temperance, Major Arcana. Now Temperance talks about things changing, and when things change we need to stay calm, relaxed and balanced. Temperance talks about having patience and knowing that divine timing is part of the overall process in any situation. But it's not just about waiting, it's about being happy and content in that waiting. It talks of a lot of healing, a lot of compassion, a lot of hope and faith, the good blending and balancing of yin and yang energy, which is portrayed within these two cups that she relentlessly mixes the emotions of. If we are feeling opposed or put in a position of looking at something from two sides, there is a chance you can reconcile and come to some sort of understanding and balance between them. You can talk about balancing budgets and finances, and maybe there's a need to do that, but it can talk about balancing emotions and stress and thoughts, which we could have in the Nine of Swords, gaining balance over the way we let our mind put us in these perpetual cycles. Having balance on how we idealize our interpretation of love. You can talk about our spiritual side and trusting more in the spirituality. It can talk of angelic guidance and know you're being supported to anything that is hard or demanding. Excuse me. Now Sagittarius does talk to the time period of the 23rd of November to January the 18th. So maybe we've been waiting since then to get this completion of a cycle. Or maybe we're going to complete this cycle at that point. The next card we have is the Nine of Cups. Now the Nine of Cups is the wish card. It's the dreams fulfilled. It's the relationship, marriage, engagement, the real commitment of two people, be it to a work scenario, be it to a passion, a creative passion, or be it in a love scenario. It's sat diagonal to the Page of Cups, which talks about a love offer coming in, and it does talk to the season of summer. But the Nine of Cups can be, we are ready for this situation. We feel balanced within ourselves, maybe feeling at a completion in ourselves, that we are open and ready to offer our love or to receive an offer of love at this time. But wishes can be fulfilled, and that sits next to the Three of Wands. Now the Three of Wands talks all about the potential that's in front of us. We've had a desire. It came as a spark, an inspiration. We communicated that desire and brought it more into a state of reality. And now we're at the Three, where growth and development is available. There's potential with the Three of Wands. There's motivation, there's a wanting to move forward and expand and grow something. There's enthusiasm towards all our activities at this time. It predicts a new relationship and celebrations too. It can also be a card of travel. But it can talk of weddings and engagements. We may find we take an unusual approach at this time, finding ingenious ways to solve problems or move forward or get our message across. It advises us to think laterally, try new ways to fire communication and creativity. That sits next to the Major Arcana card, the second one in the reading, and that's the Hermit. Now the Hermit talks to the astrological sign of Virgo, and the time period of Virgo is August the 24th to October the 30th. So maybe we're looking in that sort of time framing. Maybe something started this time last year, or that's where we're planning to reap our rewards, or we have our goals set, our deadlines at the end of this year. Now the Hermit talks about taking time out to consult with our own inner knowledge. It may mean that we are actually on a retreat. We're taking ourselves that far away, we're going on a retreat, we're taking a break, we're travelling, we're getting away to think of things through. We may be locking ourselves up and secluding ourselves just to have a little time to think clearly about things. Try not to resist this alone time, because it is a time you need to contemplate what's going on around and listen to yourself in the silence and solitude that you find. Listen to the answers. Maybe we've got to study something and learn something more. Maybe we've got to investigate in something a little bit more. But the time we give to the Hermit and going inside and asking the questions that we need answering is all valuable time, because we find the answers we need to move forward. It can mean we may have to distance ourselves from situations so they don't overwhelm us, and look at them from a different perspective. But it talks about taking time to listen to ourselves, ask the questions, you know, even if it is, what part of my persona wants this kind of change? What part of my persona is making me have this mindset? And getting to the root of, is it ego, or is it truly love, or is it just passions burning, or because the idealistic view of romance? But he gives and provides the answers. Taking time in his energy, listening to the wisdom that he already has within. Being guided by his own light, his true soul intentions, his logical thought, his wish from the heart. Connecting to our intuition and believing and trusting in us making the right choices and decisions as we move forward. And that's next to the third major arcana you have in the reading, which is the Empress. Now the Empress is another 3, and we have the 3 of Wands here. So, but she does talk to growth and expansion. She talks to pregnancy, she talks to birth, she talks to creative projects, she talks to new business ventures. She talks to the optimism, the feminine, the nurturing, the building and expansion of situations. The ultimate female energy. If we are a female, after going through the soul searching of the Hermit energy, we would and should come out very much feeling the Empress and feeling grounded in our capabilities, our power, our confidence, our inner knowing, our unconditional love. If there has been a grudge, we can let it go. Looking at everything from the bigger picture and how it affects everyone. Seeing situations from all perspectives, not just our own. If it's a male, or if we're looking for a female to come into our lives, this too could be her with exactly them same qualities I've just described as ourselves. If you are a male, we are still feeling in our power, but a sensitive side to our power, a nurturing side to our power, a creative side to our power, not the Mars, the Aries aggression and ambitious side of our nature. And they're brought together with the last card, which is the Two of Swords. Now the Two of Swords talks of a decision that has to be made. There could actually be an argument around us at the minute. We may not be part of that argument, but we might be called in to be a mediator and settle this dispute because it's going nowhere. This card tells us to have logical thinking, logical reasoning,